What's up, everyone? You're here with Goran from Pickdawgz, and thank you for joining me here for your free picks for Saturday, April 27th. Excuse me. Guys, it's gonna be another busy day. I have 17 free picks for you in this video, including the parlay of the day at the end of it. We've hit the last two last weekend for Saturday and Sunday, and let's hope the streak continues with these two for this weekend as well. In additional video, you can find all the free picks for the MLS, which has 14 games on the slate on Saturday. So it's gonna be another busy evening as well. And you know the drill, guys. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and of course, feel free to leave a comment on any of these videos. For my best bets, you can click the link in the description. That will get you up to my page where you can sign up. You can get a daily pass, 3-day pass, 7-day pass, or even a month-long pass if that's something you want to do. Like I said, guys, it's gonna be a very busy day. We are gonna start it off early, 7:30 a.m. Eastern time with the EPL matchup between West Ham and Liverpool, and of course, we have games in the other leagues as well, such as Serie A, La Liga, Bundesliga, and the French Ligue I. Let's get this show on the road, everyone. With the first game of the day, West Ham versus Liverpool is the matchup in the EPL. 7:30 a.m. Eastern time, like I said, and it's gonna be an interesting one. Liverpool lost a game against Everton 2-0 in that Merseyside derby earlier this week. It was very much unnecessary loss as they were still in the title race. And they still are theoretically. However, they need some favorable results from the matchups that Arsenal and Manchester City have, and they definitely need to win this game. West Ham is being sloppy right now. They haven't won any of their last four games. They are coming off of a horrible loss against Crystal Palace 5-2 on the road. But this is a big derby for them. This is a big matchup. They will try to step it up. They will try to get back on the nice positive streak, maybe do something in this game in front of their fans. And because of that, and because of the status of the Liverpool's defense and the entire team right now, uh, I will take West Ham over 3.5 shots on target at minus 108. For our next game, guys, we have Fulham hosting Crystal Palace, and right now Crystal Palace is on a three-game winning streak, during which they've conceded only 2 goals while scoring 8 goals, and they have beaten teams like Liverpool, West Ham, and Newcastle. Those are all pretty good teams, and Oliver Glasner is doing a great job in his early period. At Crystal Palace helm, and we simply have to go with Crystal Palace. The money line is plus 235. The double chance is actually quite decently priced, but I'm gonna go with a big swing here in this one, guys. I'm taking Crystal Palace to win and both teams to score at plus 450. Fulham has been very solid when it comes to scoring goals, especially at home, but their current form is not gonna be good enough for them to get a win, in my opinion, and that's why I'm taking this big swing for a huge plus money, and that is both teams to score and Crystal Palace to win at plus 450. Manchester United is hosting Burnley, and even though they ended up winning that game against Sheffield United 4-2, uh, they allowed Sheffield United to score 2 goals, and they allowed them to create a lot of chances, and they basically got lucky enough to outscore Sheffield United in that game, and they are now on a two-game winning streak. Burnley, on the other side, is actually playing in a really good form. They have lost only one of their last 6 games, and they are actually very close to getting above the relegation zone. They are now only 3 points away from Nottingham Forest in 17th place, and potentially with a win here, they will get out of the relegation zone and give themselves a bit of a hope and a chance to stay in the league. I think they can get on the scoreboard here. They definitely can. Everybody has against Manchester United, so I'm taking both teams to score and over 3.5 goals at plus 118. Newcastle is hosting Sheffield United in the next matchup in the EPL, and Newcastle is actually coming off of a loss against Crystal Palace in a game where they had only a couple of shots on target. They haven't done much in the attacking end, but Newcastle on the road and Newcastle at home are two very much different teams. Sheffield United is scoring goals, but they're losing points, and they're losing games and dropping points all over the place, and they're now without a win in any of their last 10 games. They're still at the bottom of the table. They will be getting relegated, and this is a must-win game for Newcastle. So I think that they will win, but we have to take Newcastle and over 3.5 goals and stuff like that to make some profit on it. Instead, I decided to take Newcastle team total over 2.5 goals at minus 139. Wolverhampton is hosting Luton Town, and they're coming off of another disappointing performance against Bournemouth this time, where they had 2 goals taken away by the VAR. They ended up losing that game 1-0, and this is actually their second game in a row at home that they haven't scored a goal and that they lost. Against Luton Town here, they have to go for the win. Yes, it won't make any difference for them in the standings, but they certainly would like to win a game for their fans and for themselves and end this 7 game drought without a single win. When playing at home, Wolverhampton also hasn't lost to Luton Town in any of their last 4 games. And Luton Town actually has a lot to play for here, but their current form and their defensive performances have been abysmal. They have conceded 10 goals in their last 2 games, and they're still missing a bunch of players because of all the injuries. In this one, I'm going to take both teams to score it over 2.5 at minus 115. Everton and Brentford are facing off in the next matchup, and both teams have gained some consistency right now. Everton has won 3 of their last 4 games, losing 1 of their last 5, while Brentford has lost only 1 of their last 6, and they're now on a 2 game winning streak during which they've scored 7 goals and conceded only one. Everton on the other side kept 2 clean sheets in a row, and both of those were at home, which is actually quite impressive for a team that's fighting to stay in the league. But I can't see them keeping a clean sheet here against Brentford. So in this game, I'm taking both teams to score at minus 161. And Aston Villa and Chelsea is the last game of the day in the EPL, and the odds that the books are giving us are telling you everything you need to know about Chelsea right now. The books have basically zero faith in them to go against Aston Villa here. They have lost their last 2 games in a row. They haven't scored a single goal in their last in those 2 games on the road, and it's still unknown if Cole Palmer will be ready to play in this game. He's still listed as injured at the moment, but I think he might be ready, and that is definitely going to be a huge boost because without Cole Palmer, this team is dull as hell, and they are not scoring goals. Aston Villa on the other side is very, very good when playing at home. However, they're playing in the Conference League semifinals next week against Olympiacos, and we might see a bit of a shuffled lineup here from Unai Emery to start off the game. However, I think it's gonna be a very close one in my opinion. I could see this going over 2.5. I could see this going under 2.5, but instead I decided to go with the draw at plus 290. I think it's gonna be a close matchup. I think it's gonna be a hard-fought battle, and at the moment we can't really rely on Chelsea to score goals. So with that in mind, I'm taking the draw at plus 290. In Spanish La Liga, guys, I have a couple of free picks for you. The first one is between Las Palmas and Girona. It's been a long, long time since Girona won a game on the road back in late January. The one thing that could go their way potentially is the fact that Las Palmas hasn't won any of their last 8 games, and they're now on a 5 game losing streak, during which they've scored only a few goals and they've conceded a bunch. So everything is pointing towards Girona, but like I said, they haven't won a game on the road since January, and that's making me a little bit cautious here. Uh, it's a bit of a risky bet, I know, but we are getting double chance on Las Palmas for plus 102. That's gonna be my pick for this one. Uh, it could easily happen that Girona breaks that negative streak on the road, yes, but it could also easily happen that Las Palmas gets out of that slump and gets a positive result at home. So uh, that's kind of my guide for this game, and I'm gonna take Las Palmas on the double chess at plus 102. The second game in La Liga that we have to talk about is between Atletico Madrid and Athletic Bilbao, the biggest game of the day. Two teams fighting for that fourth Champions League spot. Atletico in fourth place with 61 points. Bilbao only 3 points below them with 58 points, and in fifth place. And Bilbao at the moment is in a better form. They have lost only 1 of their last 6 games. However, they are on a 2 game draw streak right now, 1-1 against Villarreal and 1-1 against Granada at home as well. Atletico Madrid has lost their last two games, but when playing at home, they're very, very solid and they're a hard team to beat. They have conceded only 17 goals in 16 home games, while Bilbao on the road is not scoring a lot, only 14 goals in 15 games. I think this is going to be a very good game. I think a lot is at stake for both teams, but I still see both teams getting on the scoreboard. So I'm going to go with both teams to score at minus 139. Off to German Bundesliga, where we have a few games to talk about. The first one is between Augsburg and Werder Bremen. Werder actually got a very nice win against Stuttgart in their last game. It was a 2-1 win, and that actually got them out of the big slump and out of the big negative streak they were on. Augsburg, on the other side, is in eighth place right now. They are coming off of a loss against Eintracht Frankfurt 3-1, but when playing at home, Augsburg hasn't lost in basically since late January. That was against Bayern Munich, and it was a close one. And this is going to be a tough game for Werder Bremen as well. Just because they got a win, that doesn't mean that they are out of the slump and that their form has significantly improved. Sure, it boosted their confidence by a lot, but I still think that they can keep a clean sheet here in this game. So both teams to score in over 2.5 goals at minus 118. That's gonna be my pick for this one. Bayern Munich and Eintracht Frankfurt is the next matchup in Bundesliga, and Bayern Munich is now on a three-game winning streak. However, they're playing a very big matchup against Real Madrid on Tuesday next week in the Champions League. And with the injuries they have and the lack of depth right now, I do expect them to put in some of those younger players that are not getting much playing time, and because simply there's no any hope for them of winning the title. We know that that race is over. They will be qualifying for the Champions League for that from that second place. So even if they end up losing this game, it won't really matter to them. The only thing that's important to them is to keep a healthy squad for Real Madrid next week, and that is going to be a very good chance for Eintracht Frankfurt to do something in this game. They haven't had a lot of success when playing on the road against Bayern Munich, but the last two away games that they played against Bayern Munich, they actually won and got a draw in their latest one. It was 1-1. So, with all that in mind, I do like Eintracht Frankfurt maybe on the double chance. It's a bit of a risky pick, but I do also like goals in this one. Both teams to score in over 2.5 goals, minus 139. I'm going to go with that. Leipzig and Borussia Dortmund is another great matchup in Bundesliga on Saturday. Leipzig is pretty much a very big favorite in this game, and that is mostly because Borussia Dortmund is playing in the Champions League against PSG next week. They don't have any notable injuries. I see that Sebastian Haller is listed as injured, but I think he might be ready for that Champions League game, if not for this one in Bundesliga. But I think that Edin Terzic will shuffle the lineup a little bit and give a break to some of those starters that he's expecting to play against PSG. Leipzig, when playing at home, hasn't lost to Dortmund in any of their last three games, and they're actually on a three-game winning streak while winning five of their last six games. And they need another win to keep that Champions League spot. So I know that everything is pointing towards Leipzig, but I think that Borussia Dortmund will have a say in this game. They will not just roll over. It's a big matchup for them in Bundesliga. So I'm taking Dortmund over 4.5 quarters at plus 140. Another matchup in Bundesliga is between Freiburg and Wolfsburg. And as soon as I saw the matchup, guys, both teams to score crossed my mind. Wolfsburg kept a clean sheet against Bochum. They got a 1-0 win, while Freiburg on the other side got a 1-1 draw against Mainz. And the defense has been a pretty big problem for them. They have been very, very inconsistent this season. So, like I said, as soon as I saw the matchup, both teams to score popped into my mind and is listed as minus 143. The last game of the day in Bundesliga is the derby between Leverkusen and Stuttgart. Stuttgart is fighting to keep that Champions League spot. They are now in third place with 63 points. They could definitely use at least a point in this game. While Leverkusen has won the title, still undefeated at home this season, and they haven't lost to Stuttgart in any of their last six games. Now, because of the fact that Leverkusen is also playing in Europa League semifinals next week, I'm sure that they will not play to lose this game, but I don't think that they will push too hard to get a win. It's very much unnecessary. For sure, I would love to see them staying undefeated and win the treble this season while staying undefeated. But Stuttgart is also one of those teams that is coming off of a loss and will certainly try to be a little bit more defensive here in this game. So I think it's going to be a close one, maybe closer one than the books think. And with that in mind, I'm going to take the draw at plus 315. Off to the Italian Serie A, everyone, where we have a couple of games to talk about. Juventus and Milan is a very big matchup that we have going on. It's a big derby, one of the biggest in Italy. And honestly, I have zero faith in Milan right now. They haven't won any of their last four games. They have lost three of those four games. They have lost to Inter Milan in that big derby 2-1, which brought another title to Inter. And on top of that, Hernandez is suspended because of the red card. Calabria is suspended because of the red card. Tomori is suspended because of the yellow cards. And Kalulu is injured. So those are four defenders for Milan. Their entire defensive lineup is out for this game. So I'm not even gonna think about this one, guys. I'm taking Juventus on the money line at home, plus 107. It's a great price. We have to take advantage of it, and I will gladly do that. Lazio is hosting Verona in the second matchup in the Italian Serie A, and Lazio is now on a three-game winning streak. They ended up beating Juventus in Coppa Italia semifinals earlier this week, 2-1. However, it wasn't enough for them to advance to the finale because Juventus has beaten them 2-0 in the first leg. Verona, on the other side, is playing pretty solid football at home. And they are now actually undefeated in their last two games, losing only one of their last four. But Lazio is playing on a pretty much higher level right now. They're getting a few players back from the injury list. They're starting to heat up. They're adapting to coaches' ideas, and they're creating a lot more chances in the attacking end. So I think Lazio is winning this one. It's minus 154. It's actually a great price for a double, but I'm going to push this one to Lazio minus one on the Asian handicap line, which is plus 112 at the moment. And the least we are going to get out of this one is going to be the push. And the last pick before we move on to the parlay of the day is in the French League One between PSG and Le Havre. PSG is coming off of another great performance, this time against Lorient, who they beat 4-1 on the road. And they have actually scored 12 goals in their last three games. That's highly effective team right now. They have conceded at least a goal in each of their last five games, yes. But the fact is that Le Havre hasn't scored a lot of goals this season overall, and they're averaging zero point 0.7, zero point 0.8 score goals per game when playing on the road. We simply have to take advantage of another great price, and that is PSG to win and over 2.5 goals at minus 118. I know that they're playing the Champions League next week against Borussia Dortmund, but even if they put out a backup lineup, some players from the bench, they're still much better team than the Le Havre is, and I think that with a win here, they will get a title. And that's exactly what they want. So PSG to win and over 2.5 goals at minus 118. And now the parlay of the day, guys. Another four-legger. We have been winning those. We've hit two four-leg parlays last weekend. So I kept myself to another four-leg parlay as well. United versus Burnley over 2.5 goals. Newcastle versus Sheffield over 2.5 goals. Lazio on the money line, and Freiburg versus, it's not Verona, it's Freiburg versus Wolfsburg. I do apologize, guys. Freiburg versus Wolfsburg, both teams to score. This four-leg parlay pays on at plus 430. So, like I said, Manchester United, Burnley over 2.5 goals. Newcastle versus Sheffield over 2.5 goals. Lazio on the money line, and Freiburg versus Wolfsburg, both teams to score. That's it, everyone. Thank you for joining me here. These were your free picks for Saturday. I hope you have a great day, guys. Good luck with all of your bets. Let's win some money. And of course, stay tuned for more free picks coming up soon.